All right, it's another Friday, the 20th of June, 2025. This is CTV, Ghana's #1. Tonight's edition of Fact of the Week will give you an exclusive analysis of what happened between two corporate companies. We'll get you into that details tonight on the show. And also, we'll also zoom into a conversation between, of course, the New Patriotic Party, who or which camp are we getting into tonight? We'll talk about the Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia camp. We'll talk about the Kennedy Japan camp. We also talk about the new kid on the block, just like many talk about. That's Dr. Brian Achampo. We'll get into these three camps and whoever is supposed to join the competition as well as fast. The 31st of January 2026 presidential race is concerned tonight. On Facts of the Week, we'll give you all the exclusive analysis and discussions on the show. My name is Kwame Ocho Jr. You can call me KOJ. In the next 60 minutes, be my guest, take a seat. Let's zoom into the discussion here on the show. So I'll take a break. When I come back, we'll get a discussion running here on the show. This is CTV, Ghana's #1. All right, so welcome back from that quick commercial break. So this is what we will be talking about tonight. So we have two main issues. The first one is between two entities. We have the KGL and the National Lotteries Authority. We'll give you that the display on the screen shortly. So there's a contract between these two companies. Let's have the first slide. So the KGL and the NLA contract. We'll move on to the next slide. I will tell you if indeed it was legal or it was illegal. Let's move on to the next slide. I will show you something as far as this is concerned. So, as a legal backing of KGL and NLA contracts, the contract of KGL went through all the right processes of law and proper scrutiny in accordance with the Act 722, that's the LI 1948 and other relevant laws of Ghana. The current arrangement between NLA and KGL is 100% ethically right and 100% legally right under the Act 722 and LI 1948. We'll move on to the next slide. So the core mandate actually of the contract between KGL and National Lotteries Authority. So one of the core business mandates of KGL Technology Limited is to advance the digitalization of lottery on behalf of the National Lottery Authority in line with digitalization policy of government. So that's the core mandate between KGL and the National Lottery Authority. So this is where many do not understand whether or not KGL is going to benefit or whether or not the National Lottery Authority is going to benefit. So this is the fact. The NLA is supposed to earn 30 million Ghana cedis from KGL Technology Limited collaboration for 2020. So this is it. So the National Lottery Authority would actually or was supposed to have earned 30 million Ghana cedis. So the fact in this particular matter is that one, it was ethically right, legally right as well, in line with the articles that we gave you in the earlier slide. So it is not as though the National Lottery Authority would have run at a loss. It is the fact is that National Lottery Authority, that's a government institution, would earn some 30 million Ghana cedis. That's the understanding per what the documents intercepted are. So it has not made the perception of many Ghanaians in the public space is that KGL was cheating NLA. That is not the fact on the ground. Many say that National Lottery Authority would have earned nothing at all because KGL was at the benefiting side. Now, this is the factor on the ground, just like you have on the screen. So, National Lottery Authority is supposed to earn 30 million Ghana cedis. So, these are the conversations that we'll be zooming into. Maybe this is the first time you're hearing about this particular contract. You've heard many issues regarding the contract between NLA and KGL. So, this is about the KGL Group. KGL Technology Limited, a wholly owned Ghanaian entity as a newly licensed online lotto marketing company responsible for the running of NLA's official short code. Take a listen again. So most of the time, if you're on your phone, you get the short code, the *95 hash, then you dial the first 10 lucky number that you want to insert, and then you get your cash. So that's about KGL. So they are they are supposed to run the online lotto for the National Lotteries Authority. So if you see the star 959 hash that comes on your phone, that is supposed to be run by KGL for the National Lottery Authority. So that's the conversation. So they were contracted actually to do that online business for the National Lottery Authority. So it is not as though KGL is cheating any amount of money that generates or that revenue that comes from the agreement. KGL has its share as the sole company mandated to do that operation, and also the mother body, that is the National Lottery Authority, also have their percentage. That's the 30 million Ghana cedis we talked about earlier. So these are the real facts on the ground here on Facts of the Week, today's edition. So we'll get into the conversation. I'll take a break. When I come back, we'll take a seat. My guest already in, Dr. Desmond Annan, is a senior researcher with us here at CMJ Class 91.3, CTV Accra 100.5, and also Listo Ananapuku as the Executive Director of Good Governance Advocacy Group. He joins us on the show as well. We delve into this matter, what is in for NLA, what is in for KGL, who stands as winning, who stands as losing this particular contract. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll delve into the discussion and see whether or not we need to protect a Ghanaian-owned company or we need to hit them down. Take a break. We're back shortly.
Introducing the new Jama washing powder with multi-enzymes that helps remove stubborn stains.
It has a nice fragrance. Not harsh on my hands. Foams easily. And removes stains well.
Oh, I still to be.
He brought 5 big sachets of.
Introducing the new Jama washing powder with multi-enzymes that helps remove stubborn stains.
It has a nice fragrance. Not harsh on my hands. Foams easily. And removes stains well.
Oh, I still to be.
He brought 5 big sachets of new Jama washing powder.
Yes, ma'am.
It really removes stains and has a nice fragrance.
Yes, ma'am.
Then add 30 sacks of Jama washing powder to your engagement list.
Yes, ma'am.
New Jama washing powder for cleaner, fresher wash. Your partner for clean clothes. This advert is FDA approved.
Excellent furnishing in a real estate business is a great deal for survival. My struggles as a young estate developer were cut short when I discovered Fernards Ghana. With quality furniture made from the finest woods and amazing after-sale service, Fernards Ghana changed my story with every single home I built. It's a one-stop shop that serves the interests of clients with a variety of living room and dining sets, solid wood kitchen installations, wardrobes, doors, cabinets, beds, pergolas, floor parquets, and many other wooden products that will last a lifetime. With Fernat Ghana, all clients are offered the opportunity to customize furniture to their specifications, and the smile on their faces says it all. Thanks to Fernat, now your home can look beautiful with furniture that would last for generations. Visit Fernat Ghana today and share my story. Locate us at Daniba Estate, Osu, Accra, or call 0303 966 085 or 055 278 4097. Think wood, think Fernat.
Alive soap, alive soap.
Just like how water refreshes you on a hot sunny day, it takes a refreshing bath with Alive soap to feel its pleasant fragrances.
The soap I want and need at the end of every day,
Leaving you with soft, smooth and fresh looking skin.
you make me feel alive, you really brighten my day, my day.
Available in lemon, coconut, rose and aloe vera fragrance. Alive soap. Feel fresh, feel alive.
All right, you welcome back from that quick commercial break. So this is Facts of the Week here on CTV Ghana's #1. So we're getting into the conversation, but let me acknowledge our supporters. Facts of the Week on CTV Ghana's #1, always supported by Fernat. Wood is for life. Great furniture is made by Fernat. And also the Aquaba natural mineral water, quenching thirst and nourishing the nation with pure, clean, refreshing Aquaba natural mineral water. Thank you so much for supporting the show. Always, I've been joined on the show by two gentlemen very known on this platform. That's Class Media Group. Listo Wananapoku, he's Executive Director of Good Governance Advocacy Group. He joins me, and then our very own Dr. Desmond Kofi Annan. Well, his doctorate actually is a gazetted one. GTEC has not come after. GTEC is not after him. He's safe under the Republic of. Doc, good to have you on the show. Welcome.
Yeah, good to be here.
Listo, good to have you on the show as well. So, Listo has actually petitioned about 3 institutions. I see the Finance Ministry, I see Yoko, and I see. Which one again? Special prosecutor to deal with the matter in connection with the KGL and the NLA contract. Let me start with Listo. Listo, why this petition after the contract also revealed that NLA would have raked in some 300 million Ghana cedis annually?
Well, let me say a very good evening to our parents, viewers, and listeners, and warmly say good evening to you and my brother, Dr. PhD Doctor.
Yeah, Desmond Annan.
I'm very passionate when it about that. I don't hate anybody. I don't seek to bring people's businesses down. But as it's been acronymed, the mere fact that you suspect anything fraudulent vitiates everything. So technically, lawyers will tell you that fraud vitiates everything. And so whenever you are able to understand that there is some form of fraudulent behavior or activity going on in a place, the first things you need to be looking at is who are the players, the perpetrators. Now, I found out this information when NDC was in opposition. I made a hint of the information, and I realized that, I mean, it will inure to a zero benefit to the state, because at that time the players then were neck deep in the NPP politics.
Okay.
So it was difficult to bring out any revelation. Now, when I realized that, I decided then to discuss the issues, making sure that it should not just be the 9-day wonder type of, information dissemination and all that. So I took my time and conducted a very deep investigation into it, forensic one into it. Now, during this process, I engaged members of the what we call it, staff of NLA, who at that time were afraid to put a lot of information they gave me out there. So I decided then to, as it were, go to the other side of the coin and be sure, particularly sure, of whatever information I have gotten from NLA. So I went to KGL and I started discussing it with some of their staff who are very much aggrieved.
Okay.
And
some of the staff of KGL.
Oh yeah. I've spoken to a couple of them
regarding this particular contract.
Regarding this very contract, and if you see, it is not it's not far-fetched. It is only so that at least we are able to identify the rot properly. A problem known as half solved. So identifying the problem was very key. And because I have a marketing background and I understand marketing so well, because I've done marketing for decades.
Okay.
I was able to appreciate it simply. In a very simplistic manner, I was able to appreciate what really has gone on or is going on. In fact, today they have made stakes and winnings have come, and so I'm sure it's still ongoing. Now, what is it that has happened? The whole issue has to do with a national enterprise, a state enterprise called NLA, National Lottery Authority, that has monopoly over what we call lottery in Ghana. So, apart from NLA, any form of lottery, any form or shape of lottery is illegal, apart from NLA. And that's the law. The law is very strict. It's like taking duty from the port. The law mandates only a GPHA and the customs and those entities to take duty. Apart from that, any company that does that is illegal. That is a subject for another day. I'll come there sometime.
Okay.
And I'll be discussing Unipass and what we call it. What's the name of the company that does the Unipass deal? I'll come there. One day I'll come there. Now, KGL went to NLA sometime when Amiao, the then NLA, Kofi Osei was the managing director, and entered there with a private lotto form that was adopted by NLA to get them to undertake their job as a private entity.
Right.
Now, they licensed them as a lotto marketing company and decided to allow for them to run their own business. And then, when NLA is into business with you, whatever you make from NLA is a commission, because you're a marketing company, and marketers only take commission. Marketers don't take monies to pay commissions to others. Marketers only are paid commission. So, fast track to when COVID came, the government of the day then decided to do a deal which brought KGL as a special purpose vehicle to undertake the duties solely the prerogative of NLA, of operating lotto. NLA did not end there. they handed over the most potent and prime product of NLA to KGL. I mean, the flagship product NLA has is the 590.
Yeah.
The 590 is the one that, if you remember, in the past on Saturdays, it was run live on TV for people to see.
Sure.
And I think there was an advert of why is the Lotto doctor not rich? And they said he was a good Samaritan.
Yeah.
And the man would say, that's all. I remember those times when we were young, we used to see all that on TV. Now, they have handed over that 590 to KGL exclusively, without anyone's involvement. So, it is KGL over the last 5 years that has been running what is supposed to have been run by NLA. And so NLA started declining immediately after Akufo-Addo took over and appointed Amiao, Kofi Osem Amiao, as the managing director. So clandestinely, they were running it down to own it, and that's how they do and run companies down only for their family and friends to capture it afterwards. So if you look at the trajectory as to how much Ghana was making, how much NLA was making, and how much money they could put in their consolidated account. Even when NLA at some point was committed to making sure that people who worked at NLA were well paid and all that, they still put a lot of money in the NLA, what do we call it, in the consolidated account. So it got to a point, they now decided to put the last nail in the coffin, where they just handed everything NLA over to KGL, like they did to PDS, and gave the asset of the state, ECG, to just some family and friends, unscrupulous beings, to just, capture it and then take us, on a ransom.
But others have also argued that maybe NLA do not or did not have that logistics to control
that's a
the
big lie.
590.
If anyone discusses that, then it means we have to close NLA down, like I've decided to, call on the president to do. Because then it will mean that why do you appoint a DG and then pay him salary? Why are they the need of that staff? Why do you need a staff to run a company that doesn't have the means to run anything profitable? And so I looked carefully at the trajectory of NLA. Now, in John Mahama's first term, as you are aware, I think I have tendered in some documents that you would need to be referring from. If I wish this one was given to them to put on the screen. I'm not very technically sound when it comes to these things. But if you realize, per this document, John Mahama's first term, in 2016 that he was leaving office, if you should start from 2012, where he took over from Professor Mills, in that year, they put about 22 million in the consolidated account. This is minus how much NLA made, because NLA makes some money, pays staff, pays LMCs, pays winnings and all that. But in 2016, when John Mahama was leaving office, the money they made was 300 million, 375,095 cedis. That's how much in John Mahama's last year in his first term NLA made. Okay. Now, if you come to 2017 where Akufo-Addo took over, they made a lot of money because the structures were in place. They made up to about 363 million. Okay. Higher than John Mahama's. Now they made in 2018 373 million. higher than what they did in the first year of Akufo-Addo's first term, and came down all the way to 155 million in 2022. So gradually they were coming down on the figure. Meanwhile, this is the time that KGL, that is said to have brought on board a certain technology that is supposed to rake in more revenue, had taken over. You understand? So, if this is anything to go by, my brother, consider that, okay, in the past, how many people were shy to stand by the kiosk to stake a lotto? Just consider that. And ask yourself, how many persons are able to stake lotto because they know that they are not shy any longer because they are just by their phones? And I mean, they are able to, now pastors are able to even stake without their church members knowing that they are members of the lotto fraternity. You understand? So, it got me to be curious to look into how much KGL does in a day. That's where I challenged the people that were speaking to me from KGL to, as it were, take me to see things by myself with my naked eyes. And I must be very candid. What I saw was an eyesore. I couldn't believe my eye. I couldn't believe it until I told them to give me some form of evidence. Most of the things that I hold around, even though I've tendered in a lot to some investigators and they are doing their work, they are still what I call classified information because of their sources. But for the want of letting you know how KGL is making money and Ghana is losing, let you see some of the figures just so that at least you are able to tell as to how Ghana is losing a lot of money, a lot of revenue, that if Ghana had sat and looked at it properly, we would have raked in some form of money. Now, KOG, I tender in this. It's just for the eyes of the host and maybe my co-panelist. And it's not meant for the public, but you can just, for the want of just do a line, and you can just do some omissions in order that it will not be very categorical.
Very well.
Now, if you look at the figures before you, it is telling about just a quarter. That is from January, February, March. Just that 3 months, alone, you are able to tell how much KGL is able to rake in, and go and ask NLA how much KGL did in terms of how much they accrued from KGL, NLA accrued from KGL just in last year. And it's like a pitting. So, in fact, this is a picture I took from one of their machines. Myself. You understand? So, I was asking myself, for what shall it profit a man when he gains all that money and be unpatriotic to Ghana, his motherland?
I see. So the conversation is that before KGL took over, NLA was doing very well.
Very well.
But since KGL took over the lottery stuff, government is losing.
Yes. Even when NLA was said not to have done well, KGL's negotiations and taking over NLA's job has performed abysmally, lower than how NLA was not doing well.
So why has the NLA not spoken or been outspoken on this particular matter? I mean, from the successive managing directors who have come.
let me be very candid. After I began doing all these conversations, I was trying my best to avoid, because I was very much aware of what had gone on between some appointees of John Mahama and some appointees of the previous regime and KGL. I was very much aware because I've been talking to persons that are very close to, them, very, very close to them. It's just in the case of the Kwame Tua case in Ashanti region, in Kumasi, where, it is said that he betrayed the Asante man. You understand?
Yeah.
There are people that I'm talking to, there are people that have furnished me with information that are coming from, from insider. Some insider information is coming to me. So I was aware of some dealings between KGL management and some staff of NLA. That's why I clandestinely decided not to cause that clash. But immediately these things started coming out, he who had just assumed office, even as a communicator, who ought not to have spoken for KGL, began speaking for KGL. And that made it very obvious that, look, whatever I heard was true, even though there were suspicions.
Okay.
His behavior, I'm talking about Chris Dugan. Chris Dugan's behavior pointed to that fact. And it's no longer a suspicion. Because you see, if you are appointed as a national officer or a public officer, you are there in the interest of NLA alone. So that if Listowel is even making claims, wild allegations against a company that has taken over your job, which means NLA has now become a Trojan horse and a white elephant, that ought not to be given any salary. Because why would I have to, as a taxpayer, be paying NLA staff when they are doing no work for me, but it's KGL that is doing the work?
I see.
So when I began talking, Chris Dugan's behavior and some other former PRO of NLA, Kojo Opoku, Razak, all those behavior they started putting across intimated to me how KGL is influencing staff and former staff of NLA to come at me. But it was a very funny attempt because they don't know.
But they also think that they have enough evidence.
They have no evidence
to suggest
the name
that
of the game
they are not running down NLA.
Come and prove to me that that is not true. I'm saying KGL makes not less than 10 million cedis a day. That's what I have put out there. And I've shown some form of evidence here, like you saw.
Yeah.
And this evidence, I've adduced it to some state agencies who are investigating the subject matter. Now, as it were, anyone who thinks that, okay, patriotism is the key word for any, citizen, would have asked, okay, Listowel, you have made some claims, and we are there for the betterment of the place and Ghana. So we would want to have some form of meeting with you, and then come and then adduce all these evidence before us, so that we even investigate it. Even if you want to technically be corrupt, without letting the public know, you just could have done that, and it would have made matters rest. But the attack on my person, just showed me only one thing, that some people are chopping, and because I'm trying to break their pots, I've become an enemy.
Okay.
But such a pot is not supposed to be allowed to be eaten from. You see, my mom taught me not to eat from people's pot because he wants me to know how to sweat and make ends meet. To eat from my own pot. Anybody who takes over such an institution like NLA and decides to, run it down because of their selfish and parochial interest It's a criminal and must be treated as such.
I see. So before
That's
I come
how
to
come over the few weeks, I have decided not to allow for them to sway me off my trajectory because Ghana must know what is really the ails of NLA. It has collapsed a lot of businesses. KGL's agreement with NLA has collapsed a lot of businesses. Now, if you are able to meet any LMC member, ask them how is business. Because of the monopoly of NLA, the dubious and criminal and illegal monopoly of KGL from NLA, is collapsed their businesses. Today, what we used to call banker to banker, you remember banker to banker? You know that Samuel Uku, during his term, licensed them. I'll show you an evidence. He licensed them in a way, because if you didn't have license, you couldn't operate. And that's how come banker to banker is doing well today. They took money from banker to banker operatives and got them to go to work. Now, if you want to legalize something, the best way to do it or to approach it is to go through Parliament. Because NLA is a creation of an act. You understand? It's Parliament that created NLA as we speak.
Yeah.
So if per the acts of Parliament that NLA uses today, 722, NLA is not supposed to allow any entity or person to run anything lottery or operate anything lottery. And it is happening now, and you have even gone to the extent of adding on banker to banker people. Please, you can read this. It's just so sad that I have not been able to adduce these things.
So these are KGL payments to NLA. It's a very lengthy one.
So you just do the down one.
So these are companies, PLO's name and the fees.
Yes, private lotto operators.
Yeah. So
that is how they now call the banker to banker people.
So there are 16 of them.
Yes. And you are able to tell how much they made. It's about 19 million. Is that so?
Sure.
Okay, so
I see. So can you wrap up for me? Let me come to Doc to continue.
All these are bound. Someone will ask, what's my aim? My aim is to make sure this government rakes in a lot of revenue to solve the many problems that the government is confronted with. 2, my aim is to make sure we break that state capture idea that Akufo-Addo, Bawumia, family and friends began to make sure they appropriate whatever belongs to the state to some private individuals. If that is not broken, I'm telling you, there are people who have told me that if we can't beat them, we should join them. Now, joining them would not answer the questions or the plights of the Ghanaian, because by that time, it would have meant that they are the masters of the game. And you will now be picking up. To match them to a certain trajectory will be a difficult thing. And so I am just praying on government to make sure that it takes steps. I know, steps are being taken, but I haven't seen the kind of energy that I wish to see.
Right.
And I'm sure if that energy is put in, they will make me very proud a citizen, and the government will now tell the story of how the ex-Wal regime ripped the state off its wealth.
Thank you. So that's at least another program. Doc, let me come to you. We'll come to the way forward, whether or not government should just terminate it or maybe suspend and make a review into that, or probably engage KGL back again. But from all the researches that you've done, what have you picked up from the camp of KGL, the camp of NLA, and what is supposed to be done? Is it a fraudulent act, or you think it's a fair deal contract that happened?
Okay, thank you, and let me say a good evening to your viewers. You see, this whole conversation is quite interesting, and so when you invited me to come and do some analysis on the subject, I decided to do some checks. Now, I must say that from all the checks that I've done, it comes to me as though there is some interesting and gray areas that ought to be looked at. And so, for me, and from what I've gathered, I get a sense that when you take the NLA or the National Lottery Act 2006 or so, Act 772.
Yeah. 722.
722, thank you. You realize that I first of all wanted to know the background of KGL. And so, on what basis would any state agency would want to engage them into any form of operations and all that? So, clearly, when you look at the act that governs the National Lottery in this country, authority in this country. Now, let me take you to Section 5. Section 5 talks about licensing of lotto marketing companies. And let's not forget that this KGL we are talking about is a license, it's a lotto marketing company.
Yeah.
And so it is more like, and Listowel made a point that it was an SPV to aid the operations or whatever that it is of NLA. And so when I look at the licensing regime or the act that governs the licensing of lotto marketing companies, and to all honestly, I do not see the disconnect, as it were, to show that KGL is an illegal entity or did not go through the right processes to gain the contract that is existing now. And so I'm a bit...
So legally you think that the contract was a correct one?
Exactly. From where I sit and from the document that I have seen and per the law that I am using to juxtapose the conversation, clearly KGL went through processes to attain or to get the contract or whatever it is to be the special purpose vehicle to run the 590
operations for NLA.
For the NLA. Now, I wanted also to find out what processes do these systems go through before one is awarded whatever contract it is with the NLA. And so I get a sense that the contract has to go through the board. Then the question is, the application to be part or to be a licensed marketing company for the NLE has to go through the board. You get it?
Yeah.
So now I saw it that at the time Kofi Osei was the director, and then one Togbe Francis something Nyonyo, yes, was the board chairman at the time. That is where this whole thing started. And then it came down to the regime of Awuku and then the same Mr. Nyonyo as board chairman for the renewal or review of the contract. And all that. Now, fast forward, because you don't have time. I am saying that KGL came in purposely, and from what I wanted to know why that arrangement. And it was, their interest was more of dealing with the digital side of the NLA operations. Now, if you are to deal with the digital side of the NLA operations, let us know, or we want to know, or I wanted to know, what has been the real impact on the operations of NLA as against revenue that is supposed to accrue. Now, that is where we are now, and for which reason I'm sure in all of this conversation with Listowel, his issue really has to do with the what do you call it, the financial standings
or the revenue
or the revenue.
No. Yeah. I have more issues than that.
Okay, but But
the legal framework does not allow for NLA to bequeath its monopoly to any person or firm. It's illegal.
I'm coming.
It's illegal.
The contract is legal or illegal?
It is illegal.
It is illegal. I am saying that.
Okay, so it's like then why did we say PDS was as an illegality? PDS is also a private firm. It was illegal because there is no legal framework that PDS could have functioned. Just like NLA. NLA cannot bequeath its monopoly to an illegal entity. But KGL is an illegal entity. They had a contract.
I'm saying
okay. So
I'm saying that Section
law.
5.
Section 5. Please read it.
Section 5 is here.
I have it here.
You have it. Okay. So you go with me. It says licensing of lotto marketing companies. Lotto marketing companies.
Yes.
It says the board of the authority shall license lotto marketing companies for the distribution and sale of coupons.
Distribution and sales. Okay.
Yes. Of coupons.
So what is KGL doing?
And for other purposes that the board considers appropriate.
And it should be in the remit of the law.
Of course.
It's not just a board. The board is a creature of law.
But
NLA is a creature of law.
So the board approved the documents between the two parties.
Exactly.
So, for example, if the board said KGL, since has taken like the exclusivity they have, it nullifies NLA's authority.
How?
Yes, because NLA is the only institution in Ghana given the powers of monopoly to operate lotto. Operation of lotto is not sales. Listening carefully. If you are given an operational license to sell as a marketer, you said lotto marketing what company? It's not lotto operation company. If you are given the authority to sell or...
Is there anything like lotto operation company?
I just read one to you.
You talked about the banker.
The private
okay,
lotto operators, they are operating lotto.
Okay.
And they have paid money to NLA.
Yes, but the digital platform is also there.
The digital platform, let me tell you. KGL is not the first to have introduced digital platforms as a technical service provider in NLA.
Exactly.
We
but
have
is that illegal?
Exactly. Simnet sell the 590.
So you agree?
The problem that exists. The problem that exists. I'll simplify it.
You bring the conversation down.
I'll simplify it.
Exactly. So you bring the conversation down. KGL is not the only private entity that has engaged NLA.
So he's agreeing with me.
I'm not agreeing with you. I cannot agree with you. What I want to mean is, what I want to mean is, for example, I used to sell. I'm the one that had the monopoly of selling or advertising Samsung in Ghana.
Exactly.
I didn't own Samsung. Marketers only market products.
Okay.
Exactly.
They don't sell it, put money in their pockets, and go and pay the owners of the product monies, like KGL is doing with NLA.
No, but
KGL is selling the lotto. Listen to me. Listen to me. No, it's not the law, please.
But I've just read the law.
No, you have not read the law.
No. Let's listen to
okay, please read section 2. Section 2 of the law. Read section 2 of the law.
Section 2 talks about the object of the national lotto.
Yes, so read it.
Okay, so 1.
Yes.
Section 2.1 says national lotto shall be conducted for the purpose of raising revenue for the nation and for other purposes stated in this act. 2.
Yes.
The national lottery established under part 2 shall be the institution to conduct national lotto.
Shall what?
Shall be the institution to conduct national lotto.
What is KGL doing? What has KGL? You see, KGL has no right. He says shall be the... KGL is conducting lotto as we speak. Pick your phone, just pick your phone and dial *959 hash.
Because they've been mandated to take over
the
online.
You see, don't say online. Don't bring anything online. The word is technical. Shall conduct in any shape or form. You are conducting a lotto. If I should even take my phone today and say I've gone to secure what we call a short code and get people to now begin to text any number to it, and then I say I've drawn drawn and someone has won, I will be in an illegality. Do you understand? Conducting lotto is a technical word because you have to have a machine that will bring a draw out with 5 numbers.
Yeah.
Now, KGL, as it is today, is conducting lotto illegally. So if you I'm not saying KGL is not a licensed or lotto marketing company.
Where is the illegality? Where is the illegality
The contract is getting KGL the exclusivity to conduct lotto, which is an illegality.
Yeah, but
did you read that? No, did you read section 2, subsection 2?
Okay.
Yeah, that's what.
Read it again. Read it again. Please read it again.
But you see.
No, read section 2, subsection 2.
Listen, I've read it.
No,
I've read it.
Just for the sake of.
He's read that because of time.
Okay, so the national. Let me read it for him.
Yes.
The National Lottery Authority, established under Part 2,
yes,
shall be the institution to conduct national lotto.
Yes.
Okay.
National lotto here means the flagship program that the product that NLA has. Is flagship to NLA, it's exclusive to NLA only.
Yeah.
Now KGL is running that lotto and it's making 10 million a day. And you are telling me that it is legal? But they are conducting lotto.
So are they doing it at the blind side of NLA?
NLA has given, it's like PDS. Well, okay, was PDS doing that at the blind side of ECG?
So NLA is aware.
That is state capture.
So that
and I'm telling you that NLA's awareness, NLA being aware of an illegality, does not make it legality. Because there is a criminal syndicate at NLA, and I've given you the clear picture.
But you see,
the syndicate to commit a crime. You see, when Gary Nimaku took over as board chair, I was thinking that because he's a lawyer, he should know better. You just read the law. He said, "Shall conduct." KGL is conducting lotto. National lotto 590 is a national lotto. KGL is conducting that. What do you say about that?
Yeah, but I just read the law to you. That.
What do you say about
Section
that?
5. No.
What do you say about that?
Okay, so
Section 5 is about LMC. I haven't argued that KGL is not an LMC.
What is the sale of coupons?
Sale of coupons. Maybe you don't understand.
Yes.
Sale of coupons is when you have gone to NLA to take the lotto papers. That's what we call lotto papers.
Yes.
And go to sell.
Okay.
After selling it, go down and you see how the coupons must be accounted for. Even the ones that you were not able to sell, together with the ones that you sold, you have to bring it to NLA together with the money you made.
Exactly.
And NLA will pay you the LMC, the commission. You don't take money and then go and pay any money to NLA. What do you mean? It's NLA for you. And when you put that *595#9, they are deceiving the public into believing that the *959# is, for example, still for NLA. Meanwhile, you have given KGL the exclusive right.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Deceiving the public.
Where is the illegality?
The illegality is the deception here. But
the NLA does not have that special purpose vehicle to run the 590.
What are you talking about? Since in Nkrumah's time, have you not been? Since 1962, digital. What are you talking about?
Because that is the mandate.
How much does it cost NLA? You see, when people are beginning to veer into this trajectory, then you are making me feel so sad for this country. So KGL is capable, but NLA is not capable. What are you talking about?
No, but over the period.
Over which period?
Over the period.
I'm talking about
NLA. Why has NLA?
It is the criminality. They were veering towards a certain criminal trajectory. To own what belongs to the state, appropriating what belongs to the state in private pockets. That is why I'm telling you that it is an illegality.
Okay,
so I still don't get your point.
You cannot, because maybe you'll be skewed. Because
no. You are not being fair to me. No.
Because it is very simple for anyone to understand.
So we are talking about law.
You just read the law. Section 2.
Two different operational activities of these entities. KGL came in as a, like you said, a special purpose vehicle to run the digital aspect.
A special purpose vehicle for criminality.
Oh no.
I mean,
okay,
like they did to PDS.
So
that is why I've labeled it as
we are wrapping up the conversation.
I also dug through.
No, you're digging.
Is the wrong digging?
No, you were very skewed towards the LMC. I have never argued anywhere publicly that KGL does not qualify to be an LMC, a lotto marketing company. Lotto marketing companies don't own products of NLA.
Listen,
they don't.
Quick one. Listen.
It's a criminality.
Okay. So, quick one. Listen.
It is stealing. It is robbery.
Our time is up. What do you suggest be done in the interim?
A total cancellation of that illegal contract. NLA must conduct its lotto.
Okay.
And digital lotto.
Yes, it must conduct it.
But they also
we can be on the same page.
They also argue that NLA cannot survive after the exit of KGL.
Let me tell you, anyone who says that is the biggest thief, and the state must watch him closely. Whoever says that, look, must be enjoying. Look, they are enjoying from the sweats of the public. They are enjoying public funds that have been privatized by KGL. Because you see, what is it that KGL has done that NLA can do, or the state can do? Are you trying to mean that you, here, having to run lottery on your platforms, giving people money before, was it difficult for you to do? When you were doing cash out for people to make money.
But you give me the last bite.
Yeah, of course. So, what would be your recommendation?
Listen, did not allow me to talk.
I allowed you. Just that you were skewing the argument.
I wasn't skewing. I was just dealing with the act.
What do you recommend?
My recommendation.
Let him come with his
recommendation on this particular
subject. So he's talking about total cancellation.
I gathered that in all of these things that I was trying to put across, I gathered that the cancellation of this whole contract would be for the state to be ready to go into
a judgment debt.
It's
another criminality to say that, to say the least. Someone has done the state. Instead of us chasing after the person to make our money back, whatever money KGL has taken is an illegal money. We have to make that. It's like chasing after.
No, you are saying this.
No. It's like going to chase for our money from. The money that PBS has made. Are we not chasing after them for the money?
We're doing
that. 8 months.
Thank you. We'll have to wrap up.
Prepaid money. Thank you. We are taking our money back. Money from KGL.
But you see, even what I'm saying, the determination of a judgment debt, the determination of a judgment debt will be by a competent court of a court of competent jurisdiction.
Yes.
So I'm saying that this is what I have gathered. Or gathered in the space of my readings around. You understand? My readings around. I gathered that.
So you don't support the cancellation of the contract?
Honestly, if there is something that ought to be done, so that the argument. And of course, I agree. If indeed the facts do show that in the for the inception of KGL, from the inception of KGL, NLA is unable to rake in funds that it's supposed to rake. Of course. We are all Ghanaians and we should be concerned about it. You understand? But if something can be done so that all of these conversations can be brought to the table so that things move in a proper perspective and all that. I mean, we'll all be good for the nation. Rather than be interested in paying 20 billion judgment debt. I don't think that will save the...
Dr. Desmanan is with our research desk. And also, Liso Napoku is the Executive Director of Good Governance Advocacy Group.
Just
producers has given just a word.
Look, Ghana was making 300 million when John Mahama was president. The last time I checked, NLA had only paid, KGL had only paid 150 million Ghana cedis. Compare that. Digital and analog. Analog was making money than the digital. What are you talking about?
Right.
What are you talking about?
So this is Jordan Curtis on the show this evening. It's been a very interesting, very educative one. Liso Nanapuku, Dr. Desmanan, join me in tonight's conversation. Facts of the week is supported by Fenats and then also Aquaba Natural Mineral Water. My name is KOJ. We'll see you next week. Another edition of Facts of the Week. Good night.